Today's guest is Tony Behnke, one of our long-term electricians here. Tony, thanks for coming on today.
For sure. Happy to do it.
Beautiful, beautiful. So today, we just kind of want to get to know you, Tony. So just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, as you said, my name is Tony Behnke. I've been married for 26 years. I've got 3 kids, live in Litchfield, born and raised there, went off to college, but, we both got jobs in our hometown, and, I've been with Wolf now for 3 years after working for my previous employer for 25 years. Yeah, that's about it.
Oh, that's awesome. Plus, he plays a little golf. I know he's damn good. We'll have to go sometime.
Yeah, I wish.
How's it been working for Wolf River Electric the last 3 years? That's a long time. I think you're the longest lasting electrician we have here.
I probably am now. I enjoy it. You guys, for the most part, leave me alone, which is, nobody breathing down your neck, which as long as you get your job done, that's the way it should be. I miss my old company. We were kind of a little tight-knit group. There was 7 or 8 of us, and, we would hang out outside of work once in a while. But otherwise, working here, other than, a little bit of travel some days, but I enjoy it here. You guys treat me well, and I can't complain. So
good. Travel is definitely a thing. I mean, goodness, we install so many projects across the whole state. Plus, we got Wisconsin, Iowa. Obviously, we have our own teams over there, but Minnesota's a damn big state, and you got to travel up and down and left and right. It's it is pretty crazy, and we know that the travel can get pretty bad. But now we do have more guys dedicated for the boundary water-ish jobs or the super southern jobs, which is helpful.
Just it. People that work here can live anywhere,
right?
Because if you can kind of keep them in that generalized area, because you're selling projects all over the state. So,
right.
Yeah.
Recently, Vladimir made a map of where every journeyman lives in the state.
Sure.
And so that's how we are scheduling projects now, to try to minimize that drive time.
Beautiful.
So do you see a little bit of improvement? Because I know
I have actually recently. I've done a couple of them a little bit closer, but I also hear of people doing jobs like close to my home, but some of those guys live out there too. So,
Do you know what the story behind that? Because you're not a typical electrician, and you were certified for every single system that we have.
Sure.
Knowledge for everything that we have, as our other journeymen are in process of training.
Right. So
that's why when we had like a battery system in Minneapolis, you would have to go there.
Yeah,
that was the only,
which is fine.
Yeah, so
I don't mind that.
Now that we switch to SunPower, we should have, and more people in training, so we should have even less of drive time for you, and having jobs closer to you, because people will be able to do batteries. So how was that constantly changing the equipment that we were installing, from M-Phase to SolarEdge and now SunPower?
It's basically kind of all the same. Your solar circuits still just come down from the roof into some sort of combiner panel. It's just the monitor, or the, the gateway, or the PVS or Envoy, or whatever the system controller is. That's just learning that commissioning app or whatever it takes to do it.
Damn commissioning.
Yeah. I did that first Generation 3 one yesterday, and it was one of the best commissioning I've ever done. So
that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Because commissioning does give us a lot of grief. It's the final part of the job that should be the easiest.
And you guys are telling me these guys with SunPower commissioning, I've only commissioned 2 SunPower jobs just because of I'm on other systems, and they're calling me with questions. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, right. And we've had a good run so far at SunPower commissioning. It has gone pretty smoothly because instead of scanning every individual inverter, and I'm not a professional on this, but I heard you can scan the whole, you know how we make the barcode map sheet? You can scan the whole thing and somehow get all the micros in. So
You're kidding.
No, it's been
I might try that today. So I'll see.
There we go.
Yeah.
Plus, we got a customer service representative that's dedicated to us. His name's Noah Furin, and he's been pretty helpful too. Because unlike
we got to get him to answer his phone later.
That is true. I've been trying.
Because everybody starts commissioning around 5 o'clock. Well, he doesn't answer after 4.
Because we talked to his boss. He's like, he should be answering until 7:38 at night. And we're like, well, that's really nice to know.
Does that chat option work in that case for commissioning, or?
There is the chat that you can do like through the SunPower portal, kind of where the SunPower University training is. Yeah. But when you have like a live person that you can contact, people would obviously rather do that. But as long as he's answers, he's helped our guys out. And we've had a couple jobs that are the SunPower battery, the Vault, Sun Vault.
Yeah.
We've only installed 2 of those so far. But when commissioning, we did run into a couple issues, and he did answer, and he did get solutions right away. So that's what kind of sets these guys apart from Enphase, AP, Solar Edge. You don't got to wait on a line for 45 minutes just for somebody to give you, you know, a cushion solution that's basically
a generalized answer.
A generalized answer just to get you off the phone.
Right.
Which seems to be what they do.
Yep.
Having that representative is pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
But overall, like when we're talking about drive time, you're a special case with that because, you know, we do have guys that work close into home, but we always trust you with these intricate systems, whether it's the backup gateway or an IQ controller, a battery. You know, you seem to always get those jobs done. So that's why it's been a little different for you with the drive time because we trust you with those systems.
Sure.
But as everybody else is getting better and learning more and getting more experience with it, we do have the group of people to install those systems is getting wider, which we can probably start keeping you a lot closer to home.
Well, it seems like everybody must be starting to get it, you know, compared to a year ago even, you know, guys were struggling, but it's definitely, my phone calls are less and less. So.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's actually one of the things I want to talk to you about today is that Tony has been here for 3 years. We've seen a substantial amount of growth in those 3 years. And a lot of that people knew coming in that, you know, Tony was kind of the man around here. Tony knows what's going on. He's done all these different systems. He's able to help you out. Plus he does it without being, you know, a jerk. So you've gotten how many calls while you're installing systems? I mean, it's...
Well, I've had, close to 30. That was like the most I ever had in one day.
Which is still crazy.
Which is, you know, some of those calls were 5 from one person, you know, and 3 from another. You know, they would call multiple times, which is fine.
Right.
But yeah, lately I literally get 2 or 3 a day, and they're super quick, easy questions. So, but yeah, trying to manage getting your work done and answer phone calls, it can be a pain, but
I figure because
your day just ends up being a little bit longer.
Right.
And I'm glad that we have Dan Halverson now, you know,
for sure,
in the office that is, you know, also knowledgeable on it, and so that people can call him and not.
He fields all those calls now. Yeah. No, it's fine. And I didn't mind helping guys because I wanted them to do it right.
Right.
Not just guess and, you know, then we have to go back.
And you were on corrections for a while, so that was...
Yeah, when you're on corrections, it teaches you, it does. You're like, come on, guys, we can do better. We can, you know, take a little extra time and just do it right the first time. And
just the final touches, you know?
Right.
That's what seems to be the little loose ends at the end of the job.
Yeah.
Or sometimes big mistakes. I know you've seen some of those.
Well, yeah, but solar, you do have to be detailed with solar because, you know, and you got to tell your guys on the roof to make sure their connections are good. I mean, that's the nuts and bolts of the whole operation up there is coming down from the panels. And, you know, you do have to stay on those guys to make sure, you know, they're making good connections on everything up there because...
Yeah. And that's a tough part too. It's, you guys are the journeyman, the foreman of the site, and you guys got basically your whole different side of work down on the ground. And those roof guys got their whole side of the work. And a lot of our journeymen don't go up on their roof, which is just fine.
Right.
But we do have to make sure that our apprentices on site, so the roof leads on the roof, are making the proper connections and double checking their work, which I don't think happened in the past as prevalently as it does now. But having journeymen that do care about that do check out the pictures, who do pop up on the roof to make sure that that system's going to be commissioned and functional is a big deal. And that's where the commissioning comes in.
Mm-hmm.
So ever changing.
Yeah.
So being an electrician, you said for 25 years, did you say?
Well, it's like 28 now. Yep.
What was it like going from residential or commercial, what you were doing before, to come into solar as an electrician?
It was intimidating at first. We had a guy at our old company, he kept wanting my old boss to, let's get into solar, but that was before it was like, there was so much detail in installing it, and it was difficult. And he was older, and he just wanted nothing to do with it, So, Justin reached out to me, and he wanted me to be an estimator, and I said, I work in the field. I don't estimate. Yeah. I mean, I know how to do it, but I did not want to do it. And he goes, well, we'll just put you in solar then. And I'm like, I've never done it. Yeah. He goes, it's easy, you'll figure it out.
Into the fire.
It was pretty much throwing it in the fire. Guy met me, on site there on the first job and went over things with me for about an hour, and he said, see you later.
Have at it.
Yep. Yeah. And it was, deer hunting, the week of deer opener. And Jake, I would talk to Jake a lot that week, and he was like, trust me, it's going to get better. Trust me, it's going to get better. We're really shorthanded this week. We don't have any, because we had like one guy on the roof, and then, Jim, the master at the time, he showed up and he helped me. So Jim and I and the one roof guy are all on this roof, trying to do it in a snowstorm, and I'm like, what have I done here? Yeah. But you figure it out in a hurry. And now I really like it. I've done the big commercial jobs. I've done I love the tiny little residential service calls, the little old lady that calls and says her outlet doesn't work or whatever, but I like solar. It's 2 to 3 to 4 days at one job, go to another one, your scene changes a lot, and I like that aspect of it, and there's good job satisfaction in it too, when you complete a system and it's all done and the customer's happy, and I like that part of it.
Yeah, I feel like it's got to be rewarding. I've heard that from guys too, that each day, or each week you get 2 different jobs, 1 to 2 to 3 different jobs. Mm-hmm. And I've heard from guys that it truly is rewarding, looking at this house, bare, nothing on the roof. By the end of the day or by the end of the project, they got a beautiful system up there. It looks nice, everything's commissioned. It's got to be rewarding seeing work that you do daily to build up a new system. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it really is, and that's, I've been fortunate to have really good roof guys, and they build beautiful arrays, and that's the part everybody sees. Yeah. The stuff on the side of the house, you try to keep that hidden as much as possible, but those arrays have got to look beautiful in my mind. That's the aesthetic
part, and that's the part that customer, some customers don't even care about the production. They're just like, I don't like the way it looks. So I want my neighbors to see it.
Yeah, right.
It's a trending thing, and if anyone's seen the growth, it's been you. You've been here for 3 years. Just talking about your first day on site, we had one roof guy, and it's just, so how far we've come from there is pretty damn cool. But not only were we, maintaining the growth, but we also had to maintain the requirements of utilities and inspectors, which have been ever changing with solar as well, since it's such a new thing. What do you think about that kind of stuff, the constant changes with them?
Yeah, that, I didn't know, all the codes and stuff on solar right away. And that's, you just kind of go by, okay, we finished a job, inspector comes in, says, no, it's got to have this. Okay, let's make that standard across the board. That's when 2020 code changed or whatever, and surge protectors became a thing, and so every job had to have a surge, the line side barriers, and that was, everything was changing at that time, and you just have to stay up with that stuff, and keep ahead on it.
We had a rough couple of years, because I remember like 3 years ago when you were here, even the inspectors did not know much about solar. So I remember that constant battle with them.
Right.
We would have inspectors telling us correct, or add this, and then the area rep would come and be like, well, what is this? You
don't need that. Right.
So I feel like the inspectors probably got better as well.
Oh, I agree. The more they see, the more they know about it. And some of these bigger systems that I've done, the inspector will be like, I can't inspect that. He said, I have no idea what I'm looking at. So then, we would have to meet them out there and explain to them what is actually happening, and then they'll understand it, and, the next time they see it, they'll know. So, but yeah, it definitely has a, what did we have when I first started here? Like 3 or 4 solar crews? There wasn't many.
Yeah, probably.
And yeah.
Probably 30 guys in the field, maybe less.
Yeah, because you were still doing the lighting retrofits at that time too. So.
But it got so much better, because with those 3-4 crews, our passing rates with inspections were, sometimes they would drop to like 28%, 27%. That was low. Crazy.
Yeah.
And now with operating 28 crews, we don't go below 80% anymore.
Right. That's awesome.
Which is, so definitely there's a progress, and with your help, a lot of people that were training under you and all those phone calls definitely paid off.
Yeah, that's, I just wanted, Jake always told me it was going to get better, and
one day, Tony.
It has. It has.
No,
so and you've been pushing for it. Ownership has been pushing to make things better, and it's just that constant trying to achieve excellence is there.
Well, with how fast paced everything, it's little increment battles each week that you got to beat.
Right.
Because there's just not enough time in the day.
Right.
And you have been a tremendous help in this too. I mean, just even answering the phone calls. Some people won't answer phone calls. They're like, that's not my job. I'm here to do my job. I'm here to, I train myself. But you've always been someone to take on those calls. So just,
sure.
So applause to you, because it has been a big help.
Oh.
And there's just one more important topic I wanted to cover. So, is office scheduling department, are they given enough time for those jobs? Because I know before it used to be tight, because we needed to get so many projects on a schedule, but now as I'm helping a little bit more with the scheduling, I am seeing that we are given a little bit more time, but is it enough?
I think the time we're getting now is about right. The job I just completed, there was a lot. I got it done in 2 days, but it was a lot.
Yeah.
I think what really helps is sending like 2 roof guys out and doing that rough-in the first day, and then the licensed guy shows up the next day.
Yeah.
And if it's a 30 or less panel job, then the roof guys aren't, especially with the flashings, those do take longer, the sun power, but if it's just snap and rack, they can throw feet in, they'll have them done by 10 o'clock in the morning, some days, if they're really getting after it. But, having that day ahead of time rough-in is huge, I think. And, because then right away the next day, especially in the summer, it's hot, get your flex run done, figure out where your sub panel is going to be, get your pipe up, do your flex run and pull the circuits, and then they can do the rest of their stuff. You can build your stuff from the backwards in, I think the timing is about right. You know, if it's just a standard job, you know, no daylight backup or batteries or anything, you know, those are the ones that take a little longer because you got to schedule an outage and, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, if it's just a basic line side tap, there's no reason why a journeyman shouldn't be able to have one done in one day.
And that,
you know.
Yeah, and that was my next question, considering our go-backs are minimum now,
right,
which is awesome because we can literally fill up the schedule with only new projects. We don't need to spend a half of the week on a go-backs, which was the case.
Right.
Do you have any recommendations or tricks for other journeymen how to complete electrical part?
Yeah, well, you know, I kind of just mentioned, you know, if the roof is roughed in and they're ready for Solidex and Flex, you might have to build it, you know, figure out where your sub panel is going to go and get your pipe up there. So, you know, you can send one of the, you know, the roof lead up into the attic or whatever. On a bigger job with more arrays and the roof guys have a lot of work, I'll actually try to do the attic stuff for them to keep things moving because, you know, it just keeps the job moving along faster. Because if they got to stop doing what they're doing, you know, I always say their part's the most important part. And I don't know whether that's true or not, but I feel like it is. Mounting a disconnect in a sub panel and, you know, sometimes a production meter, that part's simple.
Yeah.
You know, and
yeah, I see what you're saying, and we are, there is a couple of jobs still. Scheduling, I'm new to it, so I just realized how many moving parts are on it, and it's constantly changing.
Sure.
Like, you can have a schedule set up Monday, Tuesday. By Friday, it doesn't even look like where we started. We do have a couple of jobs, I know, next week that do have that rough-in day.
Yep.
And I know with the winter coming, there is going to be more and more, but this is that will be because of the weather.
Yeah.
Now, when we probably, maybe next spring, we can implement the rough-in.
Yeah, and that's hard in the winter. I mean, last winter, this will be my fourth winter here. First one actually was a really good winter. We didn't have a lot of snow, and when we did get it, it warmed up right away. Last year was horrible.
Long, too.
Long, cold, snowy, ice. It was like you couldn't even shovel it off. It was just coated with ice.
Yep.
You know, so I think when you guys went to like a 10 panel a day thing, that did help.
Yeah.
You know, giving us the extra time, because every day it would snow, and they spent the first half a day shoveling.
Taking it off, getting the harness plates and being safe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, you asked about advice for other journeymen. I guess figure out where you're tying into the system too. That's an important one. Knowing whether, you know, the utility spreadsheet that Dan just sent out is awesome because it has, you know, your contact for the utility. It tells you what side the production meter is getting wired, so you don't have to spend that extra time, you know, trying to contact them. You have that person there and their number, you know. You just got to use your resources, you know. But yeah, figuring out where you're tying in, whether it's inside the main panel with Polaris lugs or from the meter socket. If it's from the meter socket, just find out if you can pull it or if you need to schedule it. You know, that's the big thing.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I just think, you know, a standard solar only job, a journeyman can do it in one day. Sometimes they're a little bigger system, you know, a 200 amp disconnect and stuff, and bigger panels and bigger wire, that bigger pipe. It all just takes a little bit longer, you know, than the small stuff. But yeah.
So just getting your ducks in a row, time management, you know. And that's one thing that, you know, we've been kind of pushing a lot is day one of the job. making sure that you do have reduction around, materials, pathway to your interconnect, making sure you can visualize how you're installing, and then just making sure all your parts are there. A big issue that we face is, the last day of the job, all of a sudden I need this part, and maybe we can't get it out to you. So then some jobs don't get completed just due to, one small part for the project, which is hard to see, but it does happen. Some of these jobs do take a lot of different types of materials.
For sure. It's like you said, there's a lot of detail in it, and just not having one connector or something can throw off the whole thing because you can't put it all together.
Right.
So, but I try to keep a ton of materials in my van. So if you can't connect it one way, you'll figure out another way to connect it, know. But
that's a big thing too, the van stock. You have a nice van. We're trying to get I think most people do have Pro Masters now, right? Most of our
I believe we have about 20 of them.
Yeah.
So we should be almost there.
Yeah.
I think a couple of journeymen might have some pickups.
Yeah.
Which are their choice.
Yeah.
Sure.
Do you think that those Pro Masters are a pretty good vehicle for the work that you're doing?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I love the fact that I can stand up in it.
Yeah.
I had the Ford Transit, which I like driving that, but it was stacked to the top every day. And Nolan had me running around on service work basically, and every little stop, unload the entire van, and at the end of the day, load it back up. Now I can just walk in, and the shelf, it's got shelves. And so it's definitely better. It's still not set up perfect, but that'll come.
Awesome.
Do you have anything else you want to bring up and talk about?
I just wanted to see where do you see us, including you, in the next decade?
I don't know. I mean, if the solar keeps going the way it is, I'd like to stay here. My son's actually talking about getting into this trade, and I don't know, maybe he can get a job here or something someday.
Absolutely.
So, and he's just starting his junior year of high school, but he's just thinking of going right into the field. I like it. I'd like to continue doing it. Some guys get burned out on it. I tell every guy that would ever come through, I said, this job isn't for everyone. It can get intense. Just there's a little bit of pressure to try to get stuff done, and sometimes, I'm not techie, so commissioning can be a pain, but when it goes good, it goes good.
Right.
But when there's problems, technology, I'm not good with it. So it just, and some of these younger guys are good with technology. Right. So, I think the stuff will be changing, not a ton. I don't think the roof stuff and the panels will change much, but it just seems like there's new and improved systems all the time.
How to get it all connected and different, aspects it can get.
Right. It's more like Legos, just plug and play, type of thing. But
because we already have the EV chargers, based from the solar.
Right.
There's multiple.
Right.
We're in the 21st century. More things are going to build off the solar system.
For sure.
For sure.
And that's what I like about it, and that's what I like about working with you guys is whatever is new and improved and out there, you guys are gonna do it.
Right.
Or make an attempt to do it.
Right.
You're not afraid to try anything or do anything, and and if it takes, great, because people that I just finished the system yesterday. The guy he was so happy. He just couldn't wait for it to be turned on, and he's already talking about the batteries he's going to get in a couple of years when he can afford them. And I don't know if all these EV cars are going to be in circulation, definitely need help to our grid. So I You know?
It's a crazy world.
Yeah.
Well, you know that we might be doing solar for Vikings, right?
I have heard that. Yeah. Is that still in the works, or?
It is. Vladimir just put the final proposal, which they liked.
Okay.
And now there's going to be a board meeting.
Sure.
To see if they're going to approve it. I know that they have EV chargers in.
Oh, I'm sure.
They're planning. I don't think for a star project.
Yep.
But down the road.
Sure.
They are looking for that. And just one more thing that caught my attention with journeyman getting burnt out, or anybody getting burnt out. You know, we've always been trying to be as flexible as possible. When people need break,
right,
we are phone call away. Everybody who said, hey, I need a week off,
right,
you know, to gather back that energy to go spend it, we were always absolutely. Let us move the schedule, find somebody temporary.
Yep.
You know, so I just wanted you to know that, and I don't think that you did use it before, as when you were getting burnt out, maybe for a day or two. You know, that you just reach out to us.
Every once in a while, you just need that recharge time, and a person does need to just schedule that in their life. I mean, in general, you need to take that downtime. I love to work. It's what I do. I work at work, and then I go home and I work. You know, I don't know why. It's just dumb. I don't know why I do that, but you definitely, like a weekend away this weekend. You know, I'm just looking so forward to it. Just think about nothing else than just chilling. You know,
absolutely.
So yeah, you do have to definitely take that time. You know, but.
Well, it's a Labor Day weekend. We're not working Monday, but consider you like to work. If you want to work, I can put something on the schedule for you Monday.
It's my wife's birthday. I'm not working that day, and it's going to be 100 out. So.
Damn.
Yep.
That heat wave.
Yeah.
I'm just joking, but.
No, I know.
Yeah. That was amazing. I'm very happy that you were here.
Well, thanks for having me. It was fun.
Absolutely.
Never done anything like this before.
That's
so
interesting. I mean,
hopefully I don't look too stupid.
No, you're our first MVP, and the leader in the field. So that's why
I appreciate that. I appreciate the way you guys treat me, and you know, I can't say enough good things about you guys. So
let us know when your son wants to start working too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
sure will. Hire from within, you know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, definitely. Well, that's good to hear. So,
well, thank you, Tony, for coming on, and thank you guys for listening to another episode.